Okay guys, welcome to the Elder Sim brought to you by Idol4 Gaming. This is the Assetto Corsa League on a Sunday night. I'm your host for this evening, as per usual on a Sunday, the one and only Hoppers. So we are going to see potentially what is going to happen. We are live here at Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. So as you can imagine, and hopefully you can all hear me very well, potentially going to be fantastic for racing this evening. As I say, we are at Belgium for the Assetto Corsa Competizione League, and we shall be looking forward to a good evening's racing. So as I was saying, the race has only just started, so we've got 50 minutes. And I believe Scott Fenton has got a drive-through penalty for some reason or another. So we've got, I believe, Silver Carter. He's changed colours in the Mercedes from obviously this black and silver to a blue and yellow one here at Spa. Then you've got Dylan close behind at the moment, followed by Andy White and Jack Evans there, as well as Ben Smith. Doug Idol Racing, and you've got Fred Coleman and Dan, and of course Dan Bailey. So it's going to be very interesting to see what these guys can do. As you know, it's going to be fantastic, as I believe Dan Wyeth there is in 9th, then you've got Doug Idol in 10th place at the moment. So we'll see what's going on at the field as Dylan makes a mistake going up towards the bus stop chicane, and that's going to hamper his challenge. He's returning after an illness, so he's going to be potentially pushed down the field at the moment. So you've got Silver Carter, Chris Cleaver at the moment as the pit lane window is open. So Scott Fenton now takes his drive-through penalty, which allows Chris Cleaver up into lead, which allows Andy White into second in Aston Martin, followed by Jack Evans, followed by Ben Smith. So Ben Smith may get onto the back of Jack Evans for third at the moment. So Spa's looking likely the weather is going to be cloudy. At the moment the track temperature is 37 degrees and the temperature out in the air is 29. So it's going to be very interesting. You've got Fred Coleman making his debut in the Lexus. So you've got Dan Bailey in the Ferrari, the Sky-sponsored Ferrari, trying to make a move on Dylan going into this corner here. So we're going to see what happens. Scott Fenton is way down the field. He's actually now in potentially 9th place now, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. We'll try and give people as much airtime as we can. So you've got Dan Wyatt trying to chase down Dan Bailey in, obviously, Dan Wyatt's in the McLaren, and obviously Scott Fenton's drive-through penalty now has cleared. So that's pushed him back down the tail of the field. So he will have to try and push on to try and get up to the front pack, as we see Ben Smith and Jack Evans having a bit of a battle. I believe Dylan has got past Dan Bailey for potentially 6th place, yeah. So it's going to be very interesting, as I say, and hopefully a good night of racing within each of their own. So I believe as things go, as I say, we'll try and get as much battles as we can, as Jack runs a bit wide there, which is going to have Ben Smith in the Ferrari to gain up onto him. I believe Chris Cleaver at the moment is trying to eke out that gap to Andy White. So we're coming up towards the bus stop chicane at the moment, and yes, it is the one and only Hoppers on the comms duty this evening, which is great to be in the comms box for a Sunday night, I must admit. So you've got Ben Smith trying to make a move on Jack Evans going into the bus stop chicane, but Jack has the door covered and potentially gets that McLaren speeding away from Ben Smith at the moment. So it's going to be fantastic to see. I'll see what's going on further back if I can. So you got Dan Bailey trying to chase down Fred Coleman at the moment. So it's going to be very interesting. The Lexus versus the Ferrari, and obviously the Porsche as well. So we've got 45 minutes remaining in this race. It is a 50-minute race, and it's going to be very interesting. You've got Dan Wyatt just going through the source there, so he's heading up to E-Rouge, and of course Radion gets a bit wide onto the curbs, but you know, it's one of them. And then you got Doug Idol in 9th place. Scott Fenton already trying to chase down his group. He's already in 10th place after a drive-through penalty. So you've still got the battle between Ben Smith and of course Jack there for 3rd and 4th at the moment. So it's going to be fantastic to see what happens between these guys. It's going to be potentially interesting, and also, as I say, we are proudly sponsored by Idol4 Gaming. So without Darren's YouTube channel, we wouldn't be sponsoring. Well, we wouldn't have a sponsor for the event, should I say. But yes, it is going to be very exciting to see what the guys can do here at Spa-Francorchamps this evening, as I say. So Scott Fenton's just now coming through. I believe he's coming through the first part of, after, can't even remember what corner that is. But you know, he's going to have to chase these guys down after his early drive-through penalty. So you got Dylan also trying to battle it out for potentially 3rd and 4th, obviously with Ben Smith and of course Jack ahead of him. He's chasing, kindly chasing Ben Smith there as Ben Smith tries to make a move on the McLaren of Jack Evans in front of him. I believe we're missing a few drivers this evening, but Ben Smith tries to make a move on Jack Evans towards the bus stop chicane to complete the lap. So it's going to be very interesting. As I say, Jack Evans gets a bit sideways. I don't know whether he's having a bit of issues, but it's closed Ben up into the clutches of Dylan in that Porsche, that bright green Porsche there of Dylan Curtin. Obviously was leading the championship, but due to missing last week, he's dropped back into 2nd, I believe, in the driver's standings. And it's going to be fantastic to see technically what goes on within this evening's race. So you've got, I believe, Ben Smith just going over Radion there, trying to chase down Jack Evans, which he's trying to escape from the clutches of Dylan Curtin. I'll just see if there's any more battles. You've got Fred Coleman in the Lexus, so the sole Lexus of the championship. Then you've got Dan Bailey chasing him down there, and I believe Dan Wyatt is also in 8th place. Got Doug Idol in 9th, chasing down Dan Wyatt in that McLaren. So the Mercedes will try and chase down potentially the McLaren, but you got Jack Evans there still in the McLaren with Ben Smith right on his gearbox, as well as Dylan. So there's going to be probably a three-way battle for potentially 3rd place at the moment, so it's going to be fantastic to see. We'll see what happens with Ben Smith actually right on Jack's gearbox into that McLaren. Dylan makes a mistake. I don't know whether he got it crossed up or put the commentator's curse on him. So obviously that's going to be bringing out a bit of a yellow flag, which I believe he's now left. So that's going to be a bit of a shame there for Dylan. It's a bit unfortunate. You see, you got Jack Evans still trying to get rid of Ben Smith there, but Ben Smith, seasoned veteran of Eldar Racing, I must admit. He's been here for a while. He's new to the Assetto Corsa League. I believe he joined at one of the rounds the latter part of last season, just to get a feel for what was going on. I believe Dan Bailey in 6th place at the moment in that Sky sponsored Ferrari, so he's going to be potentially looking for a good result. Fred Coleman still in that Lexus. You've got Doug Idol finally got past Dan. We missed that after seeing what was happening with Dylan, but then you got Scott Fenton, the Irishman. Unfortunately, he's going to have to catch up this group. He may catch up, but it will all depend on obviously when people make their pit stop. So the Idol gets crossed up going out of the bus stop chicane at the moment, but he's regained it. So you've got Ben Smith still trying to chase after Jack in that McLaren. You've got Andy White and of course Silver Carter, Chris Cleaver at the moment still leading with 40 minutes remaining of this race, so it's going to be hotting up in the cars as well as on track. So you've got Jack so far still trying to hold off Ben Smith, so the McLaren versus the Ferrari, so it is going to be very interesting. Hopefully, so we'll try and go through everyone as best as we can, but the main battle at the moment is between none other Ben Smith and of course Jack Evans for third place, so the last spot on the podium at the moment. And I believe you've got Doug Idol now has a bit of a gap from Dan Wyatt there in 8th place. Scott Fenton still in 9th place, but we'll go back to the battles if we can. But at the moment Ben Smith pushing on in that Ferrari, that beautiful red Ferrari. He's going to be pushing on for potentially trying to push on to third place. He's had a couple of 4th place finishes, has Ben, so it's going to be very interesting indeed. So yes, it will be potentially, this is probably the main battle at the moment. I believe there is another battle brewing, because Doug Idol I believe has got past Dan Bailey, but the timing screen hasn't updated it as of yet, because it does say that Dan Bailey is still 6th, but I believe Doug Idol is potentially 6th place, as Dan Bailey is in 7th now. So it does say he's actually in 6th according to, yeah, it's changed now, so that's okay. It's changed. It's one of these things with this game, it doesn't seem to update with the places as of yet. So Doug Idol from towards the rear of the field now getting back up into, as I believe Andy White's jumped into pit lane, which is now allowed Ben Smith up into potentially 3rd place, but it's also going to be 2nd place as we go into the source. But we'll see what happens. Beautiful track is Spa-Francorchamps, I must admit. This is going to be pretty amazing. So you got we'll see what happens, what these guys can do, but we'll try and catch on to the battles. Doug and Dan Bailey are still 6th and 7th. Dan Wyatt is 8th. Scott Fenton is 9th. Andy White will probably rejoin potentially in, where he's actually in pit lane at the moment, so he's still in pit lane, so we'll see what happens. Ben Smith trying to still chase down Jack Evans for potentially 2nd place, so this could be a good showing. We've got 37 minutes and 20 seconds, and we've got Ben Smith gets a bit drifting, which has cost him now time to Jack Evans. You've got Silver Carter still in the lead. You've got Doug Idol and Dan Bailey, but you've got the two Dans. You've got Dan Bailey trying to eke out a gap from Dan Wyatt, and then Scott Fenton is a bit far back. He's about 30 from this gap. He's now trying to chase down these guys, but he's about 8 seconds. I believe he's 8 seconds from Dan Wyatt there, but we'll see what goes on. Andy White's still in pit lane at the moment in the 32 Aston Martin. I believe he's got going now. So we'll just see. Yes, he's got going. He's he'll be on a course, but you've got Fred Coleman there in the Lexus, the sole Lexus of the championship, trying to chase down Doug Idol in the beautiful McLaren. I believe Doug's on the charge after being towards the back, after having a couple of nightmare races over the last couple of weeks. So the track at the moment is fast because there's a lot of tyre degradation going down as Fred gets a bit crossed up there, but we'll see what goes on. So we've got 36 minutes remaining of the race. It is going to be quite interesting to see what happens, and also who's going to be potentially coming out on top. We'll just concentrate on this battle between Ben Smith and Jack Evans for the time being. So we've got JWE in the McLaren versus Ben Smith in the Ferrari at the moment. So it's going to be interesting, as I say, but it is going to be one of them. It is, Jack's obviously eat out that gap now to Ben Smith as Ben Smith works his way up to E-Rouge and Radion. So that's going to be very interesting. It's the home of the Spa 24 Hours as well as the Belgian Grand Prix, and Spa is one amazing circuit. I believe Fred and of course Doug are still having a bit of a battle, but there's not really much in it. Dan Bailey's in 8th place, so he's lost a bit of ground to Scott Fenton and of course Dan Wyatt there, so we'll see what goes on. But it is going to be interesting, as I say, potentially chasing these guys down. Scott Fenton will be chasing these guys down after his drive-through penalty at the start. Not too sure why he got the drive-through penalty to start with, but he's now chasing down Dan Wyatt for potentially 6th place at the moment. I believe Dan's trying to defend like mad, but he actually let Scott Fenton through. You can tell Scott Fenton is on a charge in the number 8 LDR8 LMS. So it's going to be very interesting for Scott Fenton, the Irishman. Is he going to make it another win, or is he going to struggle to catch up to these guys? We'll see what's going on further round. Doug Idol still trying to hold off Fred Coleman in obviously the Mercedes, and Fred's also in the Lexus. You've got Ben Smith potentially chasing down Jack Evans for potentially 2nd place at the moment. We'll try and see what's ongoing throughout the race as well, so it'll be very interesting potentially to see what's going to happen, and it will be potentially one of them, and it probably will be amazing thing to see within the night of racing here at Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. It will be potentially pushing on. Got Doug into 4th still, doing quite well to hold on to the. Can be quite interesting, as I say. I'm just gonna so yeah, Doug Idol there in 4th place. Fred Coleman slowly but surely catching him. Scott Fenton now up into 6th. He's now gaining on this group. I believe Jack and Ben Smith are still battling, so that's going to be fantastic to see between these guys. Dan Bailey and of course Dan Wyatt are still going to be battling for 7th and 8th, but we'll see what's going on very shortly elsewhere. But it's looking likely Jack is trying to hold off Ben Smith at the moment. So yes, it will be fantastic to see Dan Bailey getting to grips. He's new to the series. He's obviously decided to join to see how well he gets on. That Sky sponsored Ferrari looks really mega on track, I must admit. And then you've got Andy White in the Aston Martin, the sole Aston Martin this evening in a 9th place at the moment. So you've got Doug Idol trying to chase down obviously these guys ahead of him. So you've got Ben and Jack still battling now. So these two are still battling with 31 minutes and 44 seconds remaining in the race. But we will see Silver Carter, Chris Cleaver still in the lead in that blue and yellow Mercedes. So it's going to be very interesting for Chris Cleaver this evening. I believe he's trying to make amends for a couple of I don't know whether it's a couple of mistakes he's made or a couple of podiums, but I think he wants a win this evening. So you've got Ben Smith trying to chase down Jack Evans still for 2nd place at the moment. Doug Idol there in 4th. You've got Fred Coleman in 5th place. Scott Fenton slowly but surely now gaining onto the back of Fred Coleman in the Lexus. Excuse me. As you've got Dan Wyatt and Dan Bailey in 7th and 8th. Then you got Andy White in 9th place there. So it will be interesting. Ben Smith still not giving up, trying to chase down none other than Jack Evans in that McLaren. So the Ferrari is trying to eke in close and close to Jack Evans. Scott Fenton is currently on a charge, trying to chase down Fred Coleman for potentially 5th place at the moment. Scott will potentially push on despite his earlier drive-through. As I mentioned, Dan Wyatt and Dan Bailey have a bit of a gap from each other, and Andy White in the Aston Martin has a bit of a gap, but at the moment the main battle we're looking forward to is seeing what Ben Smith can do in that Ferrari. So we've got 30 minutes remaining, so we've got half an hour of racing remaining, and it will be very interesting to see what happens with these guys. I believe from what I'm seeing at the moment, Scott Fenton is now catching up to Fred and of course Doug Idol. So Scott's going to have his work cut out to try and get past these guys. He's actually a man on the mission at the moment from his drive-through, but he probably will have to pit in the green and black Audi R8 there. So it will be interesting to see what happens within this battle. We'll try and go back to the battle between Ben and of course Jack any moment if we can, but at the moment Scott's now trying to chase down Fred Coleman for potentially 5th place. We'll see what Scott can actually do from his drive-through penalty on lap number 1. I'm not too sure why he got it, as I say, but he's going to be chasing down Fred Coleman for potentially 5th, and then he'll catch up to Doug for potentially 4th place. But at the moment we'll go back to this battle between Jack and of course Ben Smith going into the bus stop chicane. Ben's actually now on the clutches and the gearbox of the McLaren, trying to chase down Jack for potentially 2nd place at the moment. But this is going to be fantastic stuff. Jack brakes going into the source. Will he try and close the gap, or will Ben Smith try and leech and try and literally pounce on him? You know, the pouncing horse is going to try and make a move, but we will see. As we see here, I believe Ben's pushing on. Yes, he is, but he's a bit back from Jack there at the moment. But we'll see what's going on. Scott Fenton now has got past Fred Coleman for 5th place, as we were looking at that battle for Ben Smith and of course Jack Evans. So Scott now will try and get onto the back towards to try and chase after none other than Doug Idol, who's in 4th place at the moment. So it's going to be very interesting. Ben Smith, we'll just go back to this battle between Ben Smith and of course Jack Evans for 2nd and 3rd at the moment. At the moment, this could be a good showing from Ben Smith. He's had a couple of 4th places in the championship so far, but he wants to get a couple more better. Dan Bailey jumps into pit lane, so it will be very interesting to see what happens with him. With what's going on. So Dan Bailey's in pit lane, as I say, so that probably will cost him, probably won't cost him as much because Andy White's just going through the bus stop chicane now, but the pit lane is quite long here at Spa-Francorchamps. You've got Scott Fenton trying to chase down none other than Doug Idol at the moment. You can slightly hear the Mercedes, you can just see it there just in out of camera. Scott's on the charge here, so you've got Ben Smith and of course Jack Evans still battling for 2nd and 3rd at the moment. So it's going to be very interesting. I believe Dan Bailey's still in pit lane, which he is. He's just been lapped by Chris Cleaver in the process. I believe Jack's jumped into pit lane, which has allowed Ben Smith up into 2nd. So this is where it's going to get really interesting. Doug Idol. You can just see Scott Fenton in the background, just going to chase him as we go into the bus stop chicane. So Doug there in the red, white and yellow Mercedes. Slowly but surely it will push him now. It will now push him down up into 3rd because Jack is in pit lane. Scott Fenton will be 4th, and then so this will be very interesting. I believe Dan Bailey's just come out of pit lane, so he's still coming out of pit lane. So it's going to be a long pit lane because, as I say, pit lane here is quite long because it's not really ideal, I believe. So you got Doug Idol in 3rd place at the moment. Scott Fenton, the Irishman, chasing him down for potentially third place at the moment, as you can just see. And in the background you've got Fred Coleman in the Lexus. So it will be very interesting. So we have got 30.93, that's Dan Bailey. He's got drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So we are halfway through the race, so we've got at least 25 minutes remaining of the race. This is going to be hotting up as Doug Idol is trying to fend off Scott Fenton for potentially third place at the moment. So Dan Bailey has a drive-through penalty for speeding in pit lane. So that's a bit unfortunate for Dan on his series debut this evening, so it will be very interesting. Ben Smith at the moment in the Ferrari, still doing quite well, and you know, Doug is trying to fend off from Scott Fenton at the moment as well, so we'll see what's going on. Elsewhere we've got I believe Dan Wyatt's into pit lane. So Jack Evans now jumps out of pit lane, and potentially Scott Fenton at the moment is all over the back of Doug Idol. This is going to be fantastic stuff. We've got 24 minutes of the race remaining. That's going to be fantastic stuff, as I say. I cannot believe what I've seen this evening. It's great racing in the Assetto Corsa Competizione League, the Eldar Sim Racing, brought to you by Idol4 Gaming, as we are proud to have Darren as a sponsor. Scott Fenton tries to make a move, coming up towards the bus stop chicane. Is he going to go? Oh, he goes round. He goes round. He's got the move done. He's actually got the move done on Doug there. I believe Doug is jumping into pit lane anyway, but Scott made the move. So Scott's on a charge. Ben Smith also into pit lane. So Doug and Scott are in pit lane. So Scott Fenton now will inherit second place. He'll now go and chase after none other than Chris Cleaver for potentially first place at the moment. You got Fred Coleman in the Lexus, still enjoying his debut. This is Fred's debut in this series. He will potentially now be, I think he'll be now up into third place, because with Ben and of course Doug making their pit stops. You've got Andy White in sixth place. Well, it probably will be fourth place, I believe, but we'll see. Jack Evans there in seventh. You got Dan Wyatt 8th, and Dan Bailey coming in for his drive-through penalty. And Ben Smith gets out of pit lane. So Fred Coleman up into third place at the moment in the Lexus. So you've got Scott Fenton trying to chase down Chris Cleaver, but Chris Cleaver is quite some time away from him at the moment. So Dan Bailey's gone in for his drive-through penalty. Chris Cleaver there in first place. Chris Cleaver at the first round of the championship at Suzuka had a bit of a coming together with Scott Fenton, but it will be very interesting. I believe we'll see what happens here as Chris Cleaver now jumps into pit lane. Scott Fenton is a bit far back at the moment. I believe he's halfway around the lap, so he's going to be Fred Coleman still in third place at the moment. Thank you. Sorry about that, I was having a sneeze. I didn't want to sneeze down everyone's ear. So yeah, Fred Coleman in third place at the moment on his debut in this league. He's doing very well in the Lexus. Excuse me. And then you have Andy White in the Aston Martin, then Ben Smith in the Ferrari. Jack Evans rekindles the battle, as I don't know what's happened to Jack, but he's having a bit of moments there, as Dan Bailey's drive-through penalty has now cleared. So Dan Wyatt leads Dan Bailey, and I believe Scott Fenton's now jumped in pit lane, which will now allow none other than Fred Coleman into the lead, as I believe Silver Carter, Chris Cleaver and Scott Fenton will be going out of pit lane this time round. But I believe they will be having a bit of a battle. So far Fred Coleman with 20 minutes and 30 seconds, so will inherit the lead of the race in the Lexus, and it will be very interesting to see what happens So that will allow Andy White, if he can catch up, into third place, but he's a bit far back at the moment. You've got Ben Smith in 5th at the moment, which will potentially would be ideally 4th on the road. He's got Jack Evans chasing him down. So you got Fred Coleman in the lead from, I believe, Silver Carter and of course Scott Fenton. Andy White in 4th and Ben Smith 5th at the moment. Silver Carter rejoins the track in potentially 2nd place, and Scott Fenton is just about to come out of pit lane as Ben Smith heads down towards the source. So Silver Carter will be still 2nd. Andy White now is 2nd place, is now 3rd place, should I say, in the Aston Martin, and then Ben Smith will be 4th, followed by Jack Evans, followed by Doug Idol, followed by Dan Wyatt, and then Dan Bailey. So it will be interesting to see what happens. Fred Coleman so far in the Lexus doing a fantastic job, and then you've got none other than Chris Cleaver in the yellow and blue Mercedes. He's changed from the black and grey Mercedes to a yellow and blue one, which confused me at the start, so you know, never mind. So I believe Fred Coleman still got to make his pit stop, but he will be okay, because you've got Ben Smith trying to hold off Jack Evans for 4th place at the moment. Scott Fenton rejoins in 6th place, so he'll be on the charge again. And then you got Doug Idol, just seeing a flash of Scott Fenton there. You can actually hear his Audi R8 engine there. So Doug will be chasing him down. You've got Dan Wyatt potentially in 8th place. Dan Bailey is in 9th. So be very interesting, as I say. So you got Ben Smith in 4th, trying to hold off none other than Jack Evans in that McLaren there. So I believe Fred will try and... We'll see what Fred is doing. Fred is now into pit lane, so that will happen to lead to Chris Cleaver, and then Andy White will be in 2nd in the Aston Martin, followed by Ben Smith, or will it be Jack Evans in 3rd place once they cross the timing beam? So it'll be very interesting. Ben Smith so far holding off and Jack Evans for dear life at the moment. The Ferrari versus the McLaren. This is going to be proper interesting, with 17 minutes and 33 seconds remaining in this race, so it is going to be very interesting, and it possibly will be one of the greatest battles to go down in history. You can just hear the Aston Martin of Andy White going out towards the source. So you've got Ben Smith in the Ferrari now up into what would be 3rd place, because Fred Coleman is in pit lane. You've got Scott Fenton just coming through the bus stop chicane. Doug Idol's doing exactly the same. Dan Wyatt there, and then Dan Bailey still pushing on. Dan Bailey making his appearance in the championship, as well as Fred Coleman. So I believe Fred is now potentially, where would that bring him? He's just jumping. Kind of a bit frustrating, because the pit lane isn't forgiving here at Spa. I believe that's dropped him down to... So Scott Fenton now is potentially 5th place. Doug is 6th, so it will bring Fred Coleman into 7th place there. So you've got Jack still over the back of all over the back of Ben Smith at the moment. So the McLaren versus the Ferrari versus the McLaren in 3rd and 4th, and then obviously Scott Fenton, the Irishman, in the Audi R8, still trying to chase down these guys. He's a bit far back at the moment. You've got Doug Idol in 6th place, followed by Fred Coleman rejoins in 7th place. So, you know, fair play to Fred, he's doing quite well. But Ben Smith ekes out that gap from now Jack Evans. So it's got very interesting. Jack has lost a bit of ground there to Ben Smith there. But you got Andy White in the Aston Martin, slowly but surely trying to close up the gap to Silver Carter, but Silver Carter is going through the source as we speak. Excuse me. So Jack has now got closer again to Ben Smith. So Jack in the McLaren's got closer to the Ferrari of Ben Smith. Yes, that is correct. And it's going to be fantastic. You know, so it's going to be proper interesting to see what happens with 15 minutes remaining. As Jack's made a... I don't know what's going on, but I don't know whether he's having issues or what, but it looks like from my screen he's drifting wide, so... Got Scott Fenton trying to chase these two down now, so... It's going to be very interesting. So you've got 14 and a half, coming up to 14 and a half minutes remaining. So Doug's dropped back from Scott Fenton. Fred Coleman in the Lexus still doing quite well. Dan Bailey in 9th place at the moment, making his debut, excuse me, in the series, but it should be okay. So you've got Andy White in the Ferrari just going up through chicane there, so he's going to be closely followed by Ben Smith and of course Jack Evans very shortly. But we've got 14 minutes of the race, so it's going to be quite interesting. As we are getting towards the nitty-gritty end of the race, as you can tell. But it is going to be fantastic. Fred Coleman now, I'm just going to look at what Fred's doing. He's going to put a lap on Dan Bailey. As Dan White there coming through the source in the other McLaren. So it will be very interesting. I believe Silver Carter is eking out that lead from Andy White. You can just see Ben Smith in the background as well as Jack Evans. I believe Scott Fenton is going to be chasing these guys down very shortly. He's on a mission. Scott's on a mission, I'll tell you. As Darren put in the chat before, on the live chat on the stream, that Scott will have the win. We've heard it here first, but at the moment Scott Fenton is in 5th place at the moment, so it will be very interesting with 13 minutes to go. Who's going to take the win here at Spa-Francorchamps this evening? It is going to be fantastic. I'll tell you this, I'm looking forward to seeing what will happen towards the end. I believe Ben Smith there, you can just see Ben in the background. He's closing but surely up onto Andy White in that Aston Martin. But it is going to be very interesting. I believe Jack Evans there in the McLaren. He's still trying to chase down Ben Smith at the moment in the Ferrari. But it's going to be very interesting. Scott Fenton now is still on that charge, as we can see going into the bus stop chicane. You've got Doug Idol in 6th, Fred Coleman 7th, Dan White 8th, Dan Bailey is 9th. So it's going to be spectacular to see what happens. Ben Smith at the moment is probably loving the fact he's going to get on the podium if he keeps it together. But I believe Andy White, what's happened to Andy White? He's dropped down. So he's dropped down to 4th at the moment. So what's happened? Has he made a mistake, or is he? It's very interesting. I believe he's made a mistake because he's got a bit of damage on the front of his Aston Martin. So you can see Scott Fenton, the Irishman, chasing him down at the moment. So that's allowed Ben Smith up into 2nd place and Jack Evans into 3rd place at the moment. So you've got Scott Fenton in potentially now will be chasing after Andy White. So it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be very interesting, as I say. So you got Cliff Cleaver still leading the race at the moment, and I believe Jack Evans there in 3rd place. Ben Smith's gap has now grown, so Ben Smith can relax slightly. You got Chris Cleaver coming through the bus stop chicane, but I believe Scott Fenton will be chasing down Andy White in that Aston Martin any moment now. But you've got Doug Idol still in 6th place, and then you've got Fred in 7th, then you've got Dan White 8th, and then Dan Bailey 9th. So Andy White has a bit of damage on that Aston Martin. Is that why he's struggled, or is it something else? I believe Scott Fenton, the Irishman, will be chasing him down, so the green and black Audi R8 will be jumping onto the back of that Aston Martin, going into the bus stop chicane. Let's see what happens. Is Andy White going to pit for damage repairs, or is he going to just hold it out? Oh, he's holding it out, so Scott Fenton is still in charge. You've got Ben Smith eking out that gap from, of course, Jack Evans at the moment. So the Ferrari versus the McLaren battle slowly hasn't materialised. But Andy White in fourth place, coming under threat from Scott Fenton as we go into the source. Scott Fenton now going alongside Andy White, going up to Yves Rouge into Radion. This is going to be, oh my days, Scott Fenton's actually made a move. What a fantastic move. But what has happened? Scott Fenton's made a mistake, Andy White's made a mistake. Oh my goodness, these two. I don't know whether they touched going up towards Radion, but you know, they've had a bit of dramas together. I believe Scott's on the controller, so you know his arms must be hurting. As you can see, Andy White got a bit more damage there on his Aston Martin. So that's allowed Scott Fenton to be in fourth place at the moment. Doug Idol in the Mercedes chasing these guys down. You've got Fred Coleman still in seventh place, doing a fantastic job. You've got Dan Wyatt and of course Dan Bailey doing a fantastic job as well. Everyone's doing a fantastic job. It has been quite an exciting race. We've got 8.5 minutes remaining here at Spa-Francorchamps. Ben Smith slowly but surely trying to eke out that gap from Jack Evans in the McLaren at the moment. Scott Fenton, the Irishman, what can I say about Scott Fenton? He's on an absolute beast of a charge at the moment, but I don't know whether he made a rookie mistake going out of Radion, but it will be interesting to hear what he has to say about that. Hopefully we have got, as I say, 8 minutes remaining. Ben Smith still in second place. Ben will be happy with a podium, I believe. You know, Ben's really pushing that Ferrari to its absolute maximum. But you know, it's going to be fantastic to see. Got Silver Carter, Chris Cleaver still eking out that lead from Ben Smith. You know, this is going to be fantastic. Jack Evans in the McLaren still trying to chase down none other than Ben Smith though, for second place at the moment. Scott Fenton coming through the bus stop chicane. Must be like, what have I done? But what about this? Doug Idol at the moment is getting very close to the back of Andy White's Aston Martin.